Hi, welcome to Blacticulate, a podcast series featuring UK young black professionals, where we find out how they do what they do, so you can too. Or not. After all, it is your life. Hey guys, how are we all doing? And thank you for joining us on another episode of Blacticulate, a podcast series that features UK young black professionals, where we try to find out exactly how they do what it is they do, so you, or shall I say we, can too. So, today's episode, we have Gabrielle Smith. Now, she's the founder of The New Black. If you guys haven't heard of The New Black, please do check it out. The New Black is a platform which showcases the work of contemporary creatives and content with a focus on African and the diaspora. So yeah, Gabrielle, geez, what can we say about her apart from her being a phenomenal lady? I mean, she did start off as a graphic designer, so she talks about that. She's definitely a cultural commentator, and she's just got a huge passion for creative collaborations. But more to the point, she teaches us not only how does she start, but also the tools, the resources that we will need if we were going to do something similar. This episode really is for you or anyone you believe might be interested in knowing how to start up a platform that showcases African and Afro-Caribbean creative work. So without further ado, we bring to you Gabrielle Smith. Guys, welcome to another episode of Blacticulate. As you know, and I'm going to keep on repeating, it's all about black stories, positive actions, interviewing millennials, just doing great things, positive things. And in front of me, it's no different. We've got Gabrielle.
Howdy.
Hey, Gabrielle. And she is the founder of New Black, which is, am I right in saying it's an online blog?
Yes.
Which does, you know what, I'll let you go. You go.
I'm going to read my bio now. My bio says. Okay. It says something to the effect of the New Black being a digital platform which focuses on profiling creatives from Africa and the diaspora to inform and educate people of the inspiring and often untold stories from Africa and the diaspora.
Wowza. I like it. She's just giving us her bio. Boom. Here's a question. You've been going on for quite a while now, haven't you? 7 years.
7 years, yeah.
So congratulations, number one.
Thank you.
And can I almost bring it back to why you started this?
I started The New Black. When did I start it? I actually had a friend of mine actually sent me an email that I sent her when I had the idea for it, and I was like, I was talking to my mum about this idea for this website. This was like in 2006 or something like that. She sent me this email. So I was like, oh my god, I can't believe it. It's documented. So yeah, I kind of wanted to start it. One, in my final year of uni, I wanted to do a project looking at, was it about like the origins of jazz or hip hop or something like that? And my teachers were like, oh, we don't want you to be the black student doing the black project. Really? But then they had like, I guess thinking about it on the nice side, they didn't want me to pigeonhole myself. But then there were like Indian and other Asian students who were doing like traditional like Indian and Asian projects. So I was like, okay, cool, that's interesting. Okay. So that kind of, I would, and then I also wanted to do about like whether or not like there was a color bar in design. Like, why are all the people who we learn about being these design greats like all these old white guys? No offense to old white guys, but I was just like, cool. There's no like women so much, and then not really many people of color apart from like older white people. So that kind of sparked my interest, and then I was also interested in finding out about whether or not your cultural upbringing has an effect on the work that you do. Like if somebody commissions me to do a project, is the fact that I have like Caribbean heritage, is that going to influence my work, or does it influence my work at all? So all of those things I wanted to kind of cover. So that's kind of what sparked my interest in starting The New Black.
Well, quick one, does it?
It can.
I would have thought the answer was empirically yes.
It can.
Because your perspective is very much going to obviously permeate throughout whatever it is you do.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
So interesting. You never told us what your course was.
I studied graphic design, new media, and it was actually, I think we were the second year to do it, so it's really experimental. There was one of my housemates she studied the traditional graphic design course, and it was very much like layouts and typography. We were just like, whatever you want to do, like if you want to make typography out of leaves and fly off a building and record yourself, you could do it. So we did like, I know, I was just like so experimental and artsy. Yeah, we did like we did like motion graphics, Photoshop, photography, animation, film, 3D. So we basically covered absolutely everything. So that was really, I think that was really good for me to kind of explore all of those things, and something which I feel as a designer now, I'm able to be more of a generalist than a kind of specialist, which some people may see as a bad thing, but I kind of like that. Cool. If I don't want to do this in print, I can test out in After Effects and animate it, and I can have an idea and think, what would this look like moving? What would this look like still? What would this like?
Amazing.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can execute it all yourself as well.
Yeah.
So is that your bread and butter? Do you mind me asking?
Yes. I would say so. I didn't, when I graduated.
Where from, by the way?
University of Creative Arts.
Okay. Where's that?
In Epsom. There's one Epsom, Farnham, Canterbury, I think, and Rochester as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
when I graduated, I was like, I'm going to get a job immediately as a graphic designer. I'm going to live the dream. And then I was like a receptionist. And then I was doing little freelance jobs. Actually, MySpace was actually a really good source of where I got a lot, because I used to like hit up like rappers and like people like, do you want me to design a flyer for you? And they were like, yeah, design a flyer. So I've got all these like really awful looking flyers that I designed.
Amazing.
So yeah, and then I got a job. My first proper job was working as I think I was a content assistant for this e-commerce company. I was like doing product.
You must love it that much. I think I was.
I know, it was so long ago. Yeah, so I was doing product photography and copywriting, which was it was a really not a great company.
Okay.
And then after that, well, I guess my first proper-ish job, and then after that I started working at ITN as a graphic designer. My sister was digital journalist and she worked there. And she knew the creative director, so she was like yeah, I know
they're very rare, but once you get them
I know, yeah. So I went for I started off as a trainee actually. And then, I was there for 6.5 years.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
Is that where you still are now?
No, I left there in April of this year.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's where I was for 6.5 years. So,
but whilst there, you obviously cultivating the brand.
Yeah, it's funny actually.
Yeah.
I started the New Black pretty much a month or two, or the same month as I started at ITN. Okay. Because I remember like contacting loads and loads of people like, do you want to be part of this thing? And they were like, oh yeah, cool.
Can we go into that? What do you do? What do you say when you try and get people to come on board?
I don't even know what I said. I remember I had this I created this graphic which had young, gifted and black, and then I got artists to like customize it. So if you like the first maybe 10 or so posts will have like an interview, and then it will have somebody's rendition of what the young, gifted and black artwork looked like.
Amazing.
So I had that and stickers, and like I think I got a baseball cap with the logo and stuff on it somewhere.
Guys,
so,
Gabrielle, whilst you're listening, guys, do dump on Gabrielle's website, The New Black. It's www.nu, and is it BLK?
Yeah, it's thenublk.com. Same Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook is I Am The New Black, because I kind of I took out all the vowels because I was trying to be trendy.
Excellent. So guys, check it out whilst you're listening to this podcast, because you can do multiple things at once.
Yes.
So yeah, especially the first 10 posts, let's check out these.
Yeah, definitely. See, so I got who did I get? I got Inoa Ellams.
Oh, amazing.
Cool
He's
dude,
amazing.
really, really cool dudes. Another illustrator I think I got was Ron Atkins. we actually ended up working together a few years later on a t-shirt, like this amazing t-shirt design that he illustrated for me. I don't know who else I got to illustrate. And then I think Chanel Kellenbrew from Junk Prints, I think she also did one for me as well. But loads of people got the stickers and stuff like that. So
well, it's quite, let's not beat around the bush. You are someone who gets things done.
Thank you.
You really are. And so anyone who's listening, what would you recommend? What sort of resources, tools, tips, tricks, just for them to be able to, A, have a website similar to yours and sustain it for as long as you have? What have you learned? What are the things you can advise my listeners?
Find something that you're passionate about, but you don't have the answer to.
Okay.
I think the New Black was and has been a way for me to answer a question. I'm the type of person, like if I see, I don't know, a type of architectural building or I see a piece of art, I like go onto Google and research that and then click another link and click another link. So I'm like an information, I like hoard all kinds of information until I found the answer, and it might take me to completely new pieces of information. I'm like, cool, I've cracked that, I know. So to me, the New Black was my way of kind of answering the question, like, where are the people who look like me? Where are the people who share the same experiences as me? Where are the people who are from Afro-Caribbean backgrounds and aren't doctors and lawyers and have like gone against the grain of what a typical quote-unquote good job would be, and are artists? They might not be hugely successful, but they've taken the risk and are kind of exploring how they like tread this path of duality where they're like, cool, I've got this heritage, but then I'm also a designer and I'm into these things. Like, how do I merge those two things together? So I think a healthy sense of curiosity helps. And yeah, just asking lots of questions. WordPress is a good platform. There's loads now. Tumblr is good. Just find something that works for you.
Right.
But just ask lots of questions. And people are generally, I found, even though I've always been really scared to approach people who I see as like my icons, people are generally nice.
Yeah.
And will be like, oh yeah, cool, let's do this. And I think what also helped was the time at which I started my platform was around the same time as like Soul Culture and Put Me On It. And I think in that kind of year, like 2006, 2000, like blogging was not really
no, it wasn't big at all.
It was fairly new. So I think a lot of people like, cool, because I remember I wrote a few blog posts for Put Me On It actually, and I did a little bit of work for Soul Culture. So in a way we were kind of, even though our blogs were kind of separate, we all kind of like helped each other out, and there was this genuine interest in like, oh, this is really cool. This type of music I like. It's not like, I don't know, your mainstream magazine. It's a little bit different. This is really interesting. This speaks to what I'm interested in. I'm going to follow this and support this. So there are a lot of, a good handful of supporters who have like rocked with the New Black since it kind of started and been through all the changes and the logo changes and the website changes.
Right.
And also another really exciting thing for me has been like featuring artists who are like still at university and now seeing them like winning competitions and like being on Kickstarter and stuff like that. So that's always a really, really nice thing for me to be able to have said that I not necessarily helped, but been a platform where someone can come as an emerging artist and now they're like super, super successful. So
that's amazing. So I mean, I would say initially you went out and you found all of this content.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But is it now changed where content is coming to you? I mean, how? Yeah. Yeah,
I think so. Most of it was like me featuring my friends who I thought were cool, which always kind of helps. I'm always hanging out with creative people, so that's always good.
Yeah.
And then people have reached out to me to like interview them and said that they've like found value in what I do, and I guess it's kind of audience that they want to tap into.
Yeah.
So knowing that if I feature them or feature their music or interview them, that it's a kind of good in terms of promotion and getting people who are the New Black readers to get on board with this kind of artist. So yeah,
100%. So when you first started, was it a case of were you curating content that you found, or were you writing? Do you know, as I'm always curious to know what your split was, because if someone wants to start now, would you just advise, well, just, be a great curator, find all the stuff that's already out there, or was it like, actually, you go out there and write your own proprietary stuff?
Good question. I think...
Sorry.
I'm just laughing at myself. I think a bit of both. Initially, it was a bit of both, because what I remember doing was, for the month of October 2008, I was just posting...
Black History Month?
Yeah.
No doubt.
Right on, brother. I posted pictures and videos and quotes, and that, I think the image, is quite powerful. I didn't really have so much sex with that. I might have a quote to go with it. But I did that for the whole of October. And then I had a really simple format Q&A that I would send to people, what's your favorite song lyric? Tell me more about you. Where can we find about you? Who inspires you? And what does the New Black mean to you? So in that way, I had my definition of what the New Black was, but I was asking each of these artists, what does the New Black ethos mean to them? So they were all kind of interpreting it in that kind of way. So I would say, it was a mixture of written and curated content, but I don't consider myself to be a writer. Right. But I think the interviews, which I kind of enjoyed, were the ones where cool, I really think this person's dope, and the questions would just come to me naturally. It'd just be me and you having a conversation, and I'm like, cool, how did you come up with this? So you did this, who inspired you to do that? So it was a lot, it came a lot more naturally. But I think in the later years we had kind of more long form interviews, and I had writers who would pose questions, and I would kind of tell them this is the angle that I want to touch. So kind of a mix of curated and created content.
So I'm quite curious then, you've seen the growth, you really have, and again, like I said, you're amazing, so congratulations. Do you have a team? And if yes, how do you put a team together? And if no, God, you're a powerful woman doing this all alone, all by yourself.
No, I don't have a team.
Wow,
it is just me. Although I've had contributors. I've had 2 or 3 writers at a time, throughout the 7 years, and then I've also done things where I've had people whose blogs I do a week of guest posts. And then I also had a guy he's really successful. I think he's really successful now. He actually got accepted to both NYU and USC Film School, which is pretty much unheard of.
Shout out. Give a shout out.
He's called, I don't even know if it's either Xavier or Xavier Bergen. He's doing the MA or the MFA program at USC at the moment. Just got had a Kickstarter project fully funded, and he actually he got in touch with me because he was initially a photographer. I think he may have been in his last year at university. So I featured his work, and then I got in touch with him about doing a filmmaker's journey. So he actually wrote a piece when he started applying to schools, when he was going for interviews, and then maybe last year or the year before, he did another piece about, cool, I've done this, I've graduated, I've been accepted, this is what it's now like for me doing that. So that was really, really cool.
Amazing.
That was really, really cool.
Hey guys, before we return to the episode, I just wanted to say I appreciate you listening. And if you'd like to get involved, then please visit www.blacticulate.com for more information. Now let's get back to the episode.
So, here's the thing, right? So, we're hearing all about your successes, which is awesome, but it can't have been easy, and I bet it's still not easy. So, manage my expectations, because I'm trying to emulate you right now. What are the hardships? What's been the challenges? And I'm sure you're still going through challenges.
Yeah. Burnout.
Burnout, okay.
Speak
more
definitely
about that.
Burnout. I think you just, I guess because my site, and I don't know why I used to do this, but I try to keep Gabrielle and the New Black as 2 separate entities. But I realised it's just another extension of who I am. So I think I stopped trying to fight that. That helped.
Okay, cool.
And then just acknowledging when I was when I felt myself arriving at burnout's front door and being like, cool, I'm just going to take a breather. And I did that, was it last year or the year before?
Yeah, can you give me a story? Like, exactly what makes a burnout, and like
what happens?
I'm wondering if I've experienced it already.
What happens when I experience? I don't know. I think I work. Sometimes I push really, really hard. Like I have to do this and da 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 da, and I need to do this and I da da da, and I just go. Then I just shut down. And I'm just like, oh, I'm not really feeling this. Don't really want to do it anymore. Just feeling like the passion that I know that I had when I started it is kind of waning.
Right.
So I think at times I used to be able to push through that, but then at times it was like, okay, cool, you just need to like stop and take a breather, go on holiday, do something that is going to like reignite that passion. So yeah, that's happened. And yeah, I'm glad that I'm kind of pinpointed that I was feeling burnout instead of like, oh my God, I don't love my blog anymore. What am I going to do? Oh, I'm a failure. But I think if you...
Does that happen every year?
Does it happen every year? I go on a really long holiday every year, so maybe.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's just a natural progression. You're not always like extremely hype about something all the time.
No.
I think it's just natural. Just maybe as a creative, you just have times where you're like, I'm really excited about this thing. Oh my God, it's the best thing alive. And then you're like, I really hate this thing. I don't want to see it anymore. I need to not see it for a while.
Yeah.
So just kind of just understanding that if you have a blog which is quite close to the type of person that you are or what you do, there's a chance that you're just going to have those moments. And I think that's absolutely fine. I think if you build up readership, I think they kind of understand that. It's really funny when I haven't posted for a while, it's like, oh my gosh, are you still around? Like, what's going on? Like, I haven't seen you post for like a really long time. You're really quiet. Like, what's going on? I haven't seen you post anything on Facebook. So people are really attentive to what you are doing and then also what you're not doing, because people kind of get used to the regularity of posts, the type of content you're posting. So I think, it definitely makes you aware of like how eager people are for new information. Amazing. So yeah.
How often do you post?
Not so regularly now. Before it used to be like a few times a week. Maybe when I started it might have actually been a few times a day.
Oh wow.
But yeah, probably like it used to be every day, and then when I got the Twitter and Instagram, then that was a lot easier because I could see something, I like retweet it or reblog it. So that was just a faster way of delivering information. And then with the Instagram, whilst I may not have been posting on my site, I would use Instagram. Like I went to Grenada last year and like documented Carnival and like went to museums and spoke to people, and people really, really, really liked that because it was like a culture that they were kind of new to or familiar with, and it was just nice to see that kind of image captured through Instagram. So I did that last year.
Are you finding that? That's interesting then. So your hub is your website, and all the traffic that you possibly get, you finding that from social media platforms, or do you just keep them almost separate as sort of what you put out there?
No, I think the most of the content that's delivered through the site gets shared to my other social platforms. So if I share it on the site, then it goes out to the Twitter and Facebook. But then there are some times where I might post something on Tumblr, or I'll reblog something on Tumblr that I don't necessarily put on my site, just because it's just a lot quicker. But there's like a Tumblr feed and an Instagram feed in the sidebar of the page, so you can be updated with that kind of content as it happens. That might not necessarily be on the site.
Here's a question then. This isn't a full-time job for you, as you said, but it's your passion. How do you make it a full-time job, if at all? Is because I guess you got to monetize in order to make it a job and feed yourself, really. You should have a roof over the head, food in the stomach. Is that ever in your business model? Was that ever in your mind? Like,
it wasn't.
Okay.
And I've always been the type of person I'm like, I don't want ads, I don't like how they look. I'm a very visual person. I'm like, it looks ugly. I'm like, but you're making money though. Like, I don't really like how it looks. So I think at one point I did have some ads, but they were ads like that I designed. Someone gave me the specifications. I was like, it needs to be, send me an image that is this dimension. So I was a little bit like a bit anal, but I guess it's like your site, it's your baby, so you want it to look. And then a couple of events that I've done. But apart from that, I haven't really taken it to the full extent of being able to monetize it in that sense. But now I'm actually working freelance at the moment, so I actually now have a lot more time to focus on the direction that I kind of want it to go in. And thinking more about its future and the legacy that's already been built in the 7 years and how I can kind of continue on with that. So it wasn't originally in my business plan, but I think it's probably sensible for me to think about a way that I can expand it just from not just being an online thing. Because I think only as great as online is, only so much can kind of happen on online.
Yeah.
And I guess with art and anything that's visual and creative, being in the space with it is nicer than like, oh cool, I'm looking at it on my phone, because you don't necessarily get the full impact of it when you're looking at it online. So I think the next stage is to kind of build more on offline experiences. Yeah, I think that's the direction.
Okay, that's interesting. So here's a question. I have to relate it back to Blacticulate. Now, being obviously a black lady, have you found that when you are approached through, I guess, New Black or just generally, you're pigeonholed or typecast? And is that something that you're proud and you want to be, or is that something you wish you were? I don't know. Does that make sense as a question?
I have this,
Yeah, hit me.
my friend and I always going back and forth. He's like, your blog is this, And I was like, it's not. I don't think it's that. He's like, no, but it is. Don't try and shy away from it. I was like, oh, I don't really like labels. I don't really like labels, but I think sometimes I just kind of give in to them. What's really interesting is that I found like numerous times like having emails like, hey dude.
Oh really?
Like a lot of people have assumed, one, it's more than one person running the site, and two, that I'm a guy. And I think that is primarily because it's design focused, which is kind of weird. Not weird, but just the assumption that because there's not like fashion and makeup and beauty and styling, which I do have done, but it's more kind of like from a design focus. Like if it's a fashion label, it's like, cool, it's a fashion label that uses graphic prints. So I think in that sense, people then assume that I'm a guy, which is really funny. Like emailing people and they're like, yeah, hey dude, what's up, fam? And then meeting them, I'm like, surprise. So yeah, that's been quite interesting. And then just people's reactions to the site, probably 90% of the time because of the name, because it originally used to be I am the new black, so it's kind of like in your face. So there was definitely a lot of like, oh, it's very pro-black, it's very like anti-white in a way.
That's interesting. Let's speak about that. I mean, how do you react when people say that?
I laugh in their face. No, don't really. I think that was something that always used to bother me.
Okay.
But I think it speaks to the fact that I'm black.
Yeah.
And how I see the world is completely different from how anybody else who's like not the same color, even the same color as me. So two black people could have completely different views on the world. I'm black, and the people around me and who I want to profile are also black, and there's nothing wrong in me promoting that. And in me promoting that doesn't mean that I'm saying I don't like white people or I don't think white people are important. But the spaces in which black people occupy in terms of creating things that look and feel exactly how they want them to are quite limited. Right. So I think the reaction that people sometimes have of that, it's like it's pro-black, or I feel a kind of certain way from looking at it, just because you're just not used to not seeing yourself somewhere. Like what I'm showing people is no different from, I don't know, any like white street artist or a white graphic designer. They just so happen to be black.
Yeah.
Like I don't put every single black artist is not featured on my site. But if their work is good, then I feature them on the site. It just so happens that they're black. But I think, like if it was a Chinese or Asian site, I don't think people would have so much of a problem with it. But I think the idea that blackness is permeated through the site and the name is also The New Black, it just kind of adds this extra layer of blackness, which makes people feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean,
and there's no, it's unapologetic about it.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I have a conversation with Blacticulate, particularly with my black, I want to say affiliation, or like just, I wouldn't say friends because my black friends know obviously what I'm doing, but I'm always like, listen, just because I am having a singular focus and agenda speaking on something doesn't mean I'm ostracizing and neglecting others. And I always use this example, like just because I'm speaking about breast cancer doesn't mean I'm saying lung cancer isn't as severe.
Yeah, it's like Black Lives Matter. Like, no, all lives matter. I'm just like, exactly. Yeah, okay.
Right, you know, so, and I often think, well, if you feel uncomfortable, you need to actually ask yourself why. Because it's not what it is I'm putting out there, because guess what? There's so many, and if we're going to use whites, there's so many white media that's put out there. In fact, there's centuries of institutional sort of injustice, racial profiling, etc. So, yeah, I always find that really funny, and I'm just wondering how you sort of navigate.
It can be quite political, especially in the UK, I think. It can be quite political. Like, I don't want to be I'm a black person and I'm also a graphic designer. I don't want to be labelled as a black artist or a black creative because it pigeonholes me in terms of the type of work that I might do. Like, oh, there she goes again, going on about the black stuff. And it's quite interesting in that a lot of the creatives who I have, there's always like, I don't know if it's intentional politicalness, but I don't think it's just the nature of just being black or being a minority in a predominantly white space, is that there's always some kind of political affiliation to it. It's just kind of like people read into that like, oh, what does it mean? Oh my god, it's just like it's a skittle, it's a red skittle and a white. Yeah, but what does it mean? Like, it doesn't mean I'm just creating art. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. And I think that's another kind of struggle. It's like if I'm black, I have to be like all the way hardcore Angela Davis, black power black. I can't be like medium black. Right. I just have to be like, because then it's like, well, what's the point? What's your existence? You're a black artist. Why are you not producing this really like black work? Like, what does black mean?
And that's always going to be a question, and that's always going to be a fight.
Yeah, I think so. And I think the New Black is kind of my way of, I don't know, allowing people to explore what that means to them, because it means completely different. You could have like 5 black people in the room, and blackness means, there might be common threads, but it means something different to everybody.
100%.
So yeah, I think that's what it is.
Now, I'm going to pretty much wrap it up since we pretty much hit the half an hour mark. I've pretty much gone over it, but that's all good because conversation's been great. I almost want to ask you a couple more questions, but for my listeners out there, is there anything that you would ask them of themselves, or is there anything that potentially they can help you with moving forward? Because this is your chance. I mean, genuinely, I'm not saying I'm pretty much a big deal, because I'm not. I wish I was. But, you know, I interview amazing people, and Gabrielle, you're one of them. And if we can help, how do we help?
Oh, that's a good question. That is a good question. Share the site with your friends. If you like it, share it with people. And not necessarily black people. Just share it. If you want to get in touch or chat or hire me or something like that, then just get in touch. I'm always interested in like expanding. I do the site's done a lot of collaborations, which I really, really love. I just think it's important to join forces and like minds and be powerful. Just promote the site and read it and go through the 7 years of archives and find out all the people who we've kind of featured. So just
amazing. So what, we can hire you off your site, or is there a separate...
you can hire me as a graphic designer. I'm definitely hireable. That's really bad.
No, it's
a
all
shameless plug. Yeah,
good. Nah,
definitely.
for sure. And we can do that via your website.
Yeah,
you have your work.
I have
portfolio
another
there.
site, heygabby.com, HEYGABI.com, and I've got my like graphic design work on there. So yeah, definitely get in touch and we can do some stuff together.
I guess almost as a close off, what advice would you give anyone who wants to emulate in the successful footsteps of yours thus far? I know you've obviously alluded to some advice earlier on, but just almost like a closing statement, like almost like Jerry Springer.
What advice would I give?
What do you wish you were given advice-wise when you first started? If you could tell your younger self.
If I could tell my younger self, oh gosh, that's really hard. What would I tell? Enjoy the journey. Yeah, enjoy the journey. I think sometimes when you start things, you're like, I'm gonna go from A to B in a straight line, and like 10 times out of 10, the journey from me getting to what I started and where I want to go has not been a straight line. And at times I'm like, oh no, this isn't the direction. Why am I talking to this person? Why am I doing this job? But every experience that I've had, whether it be through my career, whether it be through my blog, whether it be personal, the people that I've met, the places that I've been at that particular time, like they've all helped me just personally and career-wise. So yeah, don't have too many expectations of how you're going to get to the destination, but find value in all of those things that you kind of experience. I think that's the most important thing.
Amazing. That's great. So yeah, once again, thanks very much for being on Black.
Thank you for having me. It's been really fun.
I hope it has.
Hey guys, thanks very much for listening to this vodcast. I believe that's what it's called now, video and podcast. Or is it vidcast? Video podcast? Either way, we really appreciate you listening. And if you have any feedback whatsoever, anything good, anything that can make us better, please do leave it in the comment section below. Also, you can get all the info, all the links, all the resources we speak about in the description below. And last but not least, if you are someone who can teach us how you do what it is you do, because Blacticulate is all about empowering and upskilling the community, then please get in touch too. Thanks guys, you're the best. And stay tuned for another episode.